Let's take a look at some facts. The people who have organized the Chennai event of Oroville Under Threat have put out a press release in which they put 2 fact boxes with numbers in it. So let's go through that and see what these facts are all about, because the facts are the only thing that can lead us towards the truth and knowing what really goes on here. So let's see what they present as facts. Well, when you look at the fact boxes, you can see immediately that there is no source cited for anything. There are just figures that you need to take at face value. Here are the figures, we say so, trust me bro. That's what we get. So this is not possible normally. I mean, this is an international press release that they have sent to UNESCO and stuff. So this is not serious. You cannot just put numbers out and say there are no sources to be cited here. We can't tell you where these figures come from. Statistics always need to come from data that are collected in studies, in research. So there needs to be some kind of a source. Somebody needs to have figured this out and deducted this number or measured this. This needs to be measured somewhere. This needs to be data collected somewhere, and there's nothing. We just get numbers, and how they get to the numbers, your guess is as good as mine. So look, the first number, 3,300 residents. Well, where does that come from? We don't know. I have a good guess because I know how things work here. So I can tell you for sure, the Register of Residents, which is the official list of Orovillians, has up until now, 50 years into the existence of Oroville, has never had a number of 3,300 registered living Orovillians. It's not there. So that's already not true. So where does this number come from? Probably it comes from the master list. What is the master list? The master list is the shadow list that these people have created as a sort of parallel of the Register of Residents. Why do we need to have a parallel of the Register of Residents? Why does there need to be a second list? Well, if legally you need to know how many residents there are in Oroville, then there is one list somewhere. There cannot be 2 competing lists. That's ridiculous. So legally, in the Oroville Foundation Act, the Register of Residents is created to keep track of all who are Orovillians and not. It's very important. That point is crucially important, and I'll make another video on that, because the legalities of that list is something they just lie about all the time. Well, it's very misleading what they say. It's lying by omission. They don't give the most important information, and thus they claim that they make you understand something that is not true. So the 3,300 residents, we never had them. People have been here in and out all the time. People come and go. People join Oroville, leave Oroville. There has not been, we are not even to 3,300. And one of the reasons, as I've spoken about in an earlier video, is that the entry process and the entry service has always been very restricted, because the people who had their little kingdoms here don't need to have a lot of people around, because that doesn't help them. It just creates competition for their kingdoms. So yes, 3,300 residents. I can guarantee you it's not factual. You can ask at the foundation what the Register of Residents says and what it does. I think by now it's more or less updated, and there's about 2,000 and a little bit. So we never got to 3,300. Okay. Second, 60 plus nationalities living together. Probably more or less true, but as I said before already, people come and go, so nationalities go up and down, whatever. Does it matter? Is it important for Oroville to have different nationalities? Because if it is important, then we're doing a very bad job, because there are 200 plus nationalities in the world, and we only have 60 out of them. So we really need to get Africans and South Americans in here, because we hardly have any African nationalities represented in Oroville. And so what does that mean? Anyways, people have double nationality. Some people in Oroville, you cannot have you cannot be registered with two nationalities. So when you join Oroville and you have double passports, you have two or three passports, you have to choose one. So it all depends on which one you choose. And then suddenly we have more nationalities. So they always encourage people to choose the lesser represented nationality. So if you have two passports and one of these passports has a nationality that is not yet represented in Oroville, then they will use that passport to boost that number, even though it's rather meaningless for the spiritual project that Oroville is. So this number, for instance, we have one person from Finland here. Well, actually, it's not a real Finnish person. It's a Dutch person who naturalized, or even I think he got a double nationality and just got a Finnish passport also. And because there were already a lot of Dutch people from Holland here. So he registered on his Finnish passport so that we have an extra nationality. In fact, it's just another Dutch person. Anyways, you get the gist. It's a rather meaningless statistic. It doesn't mean much. Next, 1,300 acres of restored forest. Says who? Where does the number come from? What does it mean? What is restored forest? What is all of this? So look at Google Earth. It's very good to have a look at Google Earth. Look at that map. I mean, look at that satellite picture of what Oroville is now. It's such a pity we don't have satellite images from the 1970s to compare with. But you can see where in this picture is Oroville. Which plots of land belong to Oroville? Can you see? Because you can see there's a lot of greenery everywhere around here. So, do you think that every tree that you see in this picture is being planted by an Orovillian? Forget about it, it's nonsensical. Of course not. It just grows around here when you stop the cows and the goats from eating the saplings. So as long as there is no overgrazing, nature here takes over because it's very fertile. It's a very fertile region. So who calculates these acres of restored forest? It's just a wild claim out of nowhere. Okay, let's forget it. You can look at my video about the magical desert greening. Next, 17,000 people directly connected, economically or socially. Once again, that is a social statistic. It's a population statistic. Where is the study? Where this came out of? Where is the research? Where is it? Who came up with this figure? Why not 12,000? Why not 25,000? Why not 35,000? Says who 17,000? Where does that come from? Show us the study. I've never seen anything. Between 15 and 20 years ago, there was an economical study done here by Thomas and Thomas, and they had at that time they had done a survey to ask about the domestic workers or the workers in Oroville, and I think at that time they came to 4,000 workers in Oroville. But so what does that mean? People directly connected, economically or socially. What is this? And where does the number come from? 17,000. Next, identical thing. 35,000 people benefit from Oroville's socio-economic environmental work. Says who? Where is the study? How do you know that? Where does that come from? Who decides such thing? Because that's what it just ends up being. Or just put a figure there. Just let's say 35,000. Might be. I mean, it's just nonsensical. This is supposed to be a fact box. These are just figures pulled out of a hat. It's just whatever. It's ridiculous. Okay, 68 national and international awards. I don't know, they might have kept track of that because of course there are people who are very proud with things, and I mean the kings and queens of Oroville, they will be happy with awards. I don't care about these things either, because what does it really mean? Award for what? What are you awarded for? Did Mother say that you needed to come and win awards here? Or did she ask us to become better people and grow in spirituality and build a spiritual city? Because that's what this all is about. Oroville is about that. It's not about all of these weird statistics. It's about how much of a spiritual city are we? What are we doing here? How much of what Mother asked us to do have we implemented? And it's obvious that so far, it's not so much. Not to say that it looks and it stinks like we were not wanting to do it and we more or less probably on purpose blocked it. Let's not be too nasty and mean to them, but look around and see. So we need to move forward with the spiritual side of our will. That's what is important here. Okay, next one, we'll do that second box in a separate video. For now, Jai Ma, Jai Hind.